Money, 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 right?
Money, money, money,
Money, money, money, right?
money.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I wanna just say, 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, right? 44% of individuals don't even have $400 saved, right? And when you think about education, that's where it stems from. Only 6 out of 50 states are required to have a financial literacy course. It's financial literacy month. It's April financial literacy month. That's why we're talking about money. But I didn't want to bore you with statistics, but that's the topic of conversation, money making systems. Welcome everyone to Life with Shenita. Today we talking about money making systems. I have my brothers here today, and just to kind of introduce who we are. My name is Jaquez Baldwin, and I like to consider myself as a connector. I connect individuals, especially independent entrepreneurs, with business development and financial strategies. And so I'm excited to have this conversation today. And I think it's definitely needed. But definitely want to welcome my brothers. Brandon, what you got?
Hey, everybody. I'm Brandon Mercer, senior civil engineering major at FAMU. I've been super busy getting these classes out the way. I got a big schedule up this week and next week and for the summer. So I'm just staying busy, sharpening my tools, keeping everything tight, and yeah, that's me right there in a nutshell. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Grateful to be here again, my brothers. I'm everybody. I'm Lennox Francis. I'm a government contractor, specifically on the cybersecurity side. So I do cybersecurity, which is risk management, identity access management, and incident response. And on the side, I also own an IT business, where I primarily focus on small business, uh, whatever the IT needs are, mainly networking, desktop support, and just keeping small business up to date. Because as we know, cybersecurity is big in this world, and it's needed. The knowledge is needed, and I've been taught the knowledge, so I've been willing to give it to others. But today, as Quay said, we're talking about financial literacy. And if you didn't know, the name of our show is called The Game Plan.
Game plan.
Game Plan. Say it with me, brothers.
The
game.
Plan. Okay. And so when it comes to the game plan is to hear perspectives from the minds of professionals and uncover their objectives and motives. Sharing knowledge amongst each other can further develop our mindset as well as success. What has been put down must be picked up. Inspiring and uplifting is the goal, and that's exactly what we came to do. So when we talk about the game plan, we talk about talking to professionals. We always go out, meet other professionals, other people in different areas of business or sectors of the world in general, and we're talking about it financial literacy. So we have to talk about InvestFest. Our guests we met at InvestFest.
Right.
InvestFest, as you know, is full of financial literacy,
Right.
and it's a young brother we met. He's from New York. No, he's from Maryland, but he currently resides in New York. He's a graduate of Georgetown. He played football, and he's a first-generation Jamaican American graduate. I want to bring on my brother. His name is Javon Campbell, and I'll let him introduce himself.
There we go. Javon, what's up, man? What's up?
Now, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing tonight?
What's up?
Hey,
Man, everything's going well, man. Can't complain. I'm blessed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, everybody else introduced themselves, so I guess I'll introduce myself as well. So, my name is Javon Campbell. I'm currently sitting as a first-year rotational analyst at Morgan Stanley in their wealth management program. Recent graduate of Georgetown University, as they said, where I majored in marketing and management. I was also a member of the football team where I played safety. I'm originally from Silver Spring, Maryland, so DMV at heart, but I currently reside in New York. And fun fact about me, I'm first generation Jamaican American and college graduate. And just coming from an immigrant household, my mother and my grandma always, taught me about the importance about creating generational wealth. So even if we didn't have it growing up, they always kind of planted that in my mind. So we talk about having a game plan. I've been trying to find a game plan since I was young. You know what I mean?
there we go.
Yes.
I like that. I
There we
love that. And so when we talk about investing, when we talk about financial literacy, we often working for money. or spend it, or that good?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, when it comes to just investing, we want our money to work for us. We don't want to always work for our money. So my question to you guys is just to break the ice. I'm curious to know, why do we trade so much of our time for money?
Mm.
Mm.
We can just let that settle in, but I want to hear it from we can start with Quiz, and then we can go with Javon after that.
I'm curious on what you guys are thinking, but I believe it's a simple answer, right? So why do we trade so much of our time for money? I feel like it's because we was taught that. Right now, when you think about trading your time for money, we hear things like time is money, or you when it comes to trading your time for money, that is the fact that, because I actually was listening to something, and they had said that, I think it was an Ernie Leisure video, and he was mentioning how somebody was like, "Hey, my goal is to retire with a pension as a firefighter." Right? He was like, because I put my 30 years in, put a little 30 years. Next thing you know, I retire and I'm good to go, right? And you think about that, you say a little 30 years, that's a decent amount of time. And really a quick story, I really think about when I had a client the other day. It was actually a couple weeks ago, and I was speaking with her. We was talking about certain things, and she had mentioned. She said, "Hey, these are some things I need to put in place." And then next thing you know, she told me. She said, "But before we schedule our next call, I know I'm really focused on making sure I put these things in place." But he said, "Hey, I got to go to me and my daughter. We're going to Disneyland." And so when she said Disneyland, I'm like, okay, there's things that we know we got to put in place, but she's going to Disneyland. And when I thought about that, I literally thought about my experience. When I grew up, I don't know about you guys. When I grew up, my parents did anything and everything for me, no matter what the situation was, because that's who they wanted to make sure that I had an amazing life growing up. And so when I think about that, I think about, Javon had mentioned generational wealth. Well, when we think about that, we also have generational curses.
Yep.
Right. And so the generational curse can sometimes be the things that we are taught in regards to how to deal with money, or even how we talk about money, or how we spend our time. And so if we spend our time, we say trading your time for money. If you spend your time, let's say for instance, you know, working for your money all the time and never have your money work for you, then it's like, okay, we're going in a cycle to where we never can allow us to really reach a wealth because our money is not working for us, right? And so that's kind of what I think about. And I mean, I would love to hear y'all take away from that. But I think the generational curses aspect of it is so important, because me personally, I feel like a lot of my parents wanted to make sure that they did certain things for me, and they put themselves second, right? And sometimes that can be cool, but a lot of times, I think it might be something more than that as well. But I'm curious which y'all got. What you think, Javon?
Yeah, definitely. And I think what they do is they try to do that to, do stuff that their parents weren't able to do for them as well. So I think that's a lot of where that comes from. But, in terms of why we trade so much time for money, I agree. I think that it's because that's what we know. That's what's been embedded into our system from time began, since we got here, honestly. We grew up watching from generation to generation, that mindset of you got to work hard to get rich, so your time, you have to work for your time. You got to work for your money. I feel like that's a lot of where it comes from. I do believe that, you do have to trade time in order to get money, at some point. And that's for that acquiring stage. But, as to grow and to multiply that money, you have to learn how to invest that money, or invest that time, or invest that knowledge. So it gets to that point as well. I don't mean to bring everything to investing, but, I always try to look at it in that positive mindset of like, where can we go? And I feel like we do have to do a better job of how we invest our focus, how we invest our money. And, a lot of it is a mindset thing. We got to break those generational curses. That's why I try to think of these other ways that, we can go around it or break through them. And I was actually reading. It's funny, it's right here, but I'm reading this book. What is it called? Well Choice. Success Secrets of Black Millionaires by Dennis Kimbrough.
Oh wow.
And he shows constantly, like there's a multitude of showcases where he so exemplifies Black millionaires. They got that status. They got to that status from, trading time for both knowledge and for money. You know what I'm saying? So you got to learn how to invest in money. You got to learn how to invest in yourself and your knowledge and your personal well-being in general.
Great.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I like the way you put that, Javon. I just want to like shine light on like what I feel like the reason we trade so much time for money. For one, you gotta put the work in, so that's gonna take time. And then and I feel like I like the way Javon put it. Like once you acquire it, you need to start making it work for you. And I feel like we kind of get trapped in the acquiring stage. We get trapped in that 9 to 5. We get comfortable in just waking up, clocking in, clocking out, and chilling. And so I feel like if you get trapped in that, then that's why we trade so much of our time for money in a bad way. But once we start, like he said, investing, and I see my auntie Marjorie put all of these different like systems, 401k, traditional IRAs. Like we need to learn more about that, because literally last year was my first time learning about an IRA and just like mutual funds and like putting your money to work, like making money work. So that's just something to take heed into. And I really appreciate that question. It really just woke me up. So
Definitely. So when we talk about, why I trade somebody, I always question this ever since I got into entrepreneurship. Once I noticed that a lot of the opportunities that we have, if we're working so much, we won't get to go to them. So a lot of times there are meetings at 2, there are meetings at maybe like 10 a.m., 2 a.m., but guess where we're at? We're at work. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with the 9 to 5 at all. Like I don't have no shame against it, but it's just the opportunities. You don't get certain opportunities every now. Well, you don't get certain opportunities again. So it's like, once you have the opportunity, once you understand how much time is so valuable, like you need to be spending time doing things that reach you to the next level. And I want to talk about a book. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. My brother B gave it to me. It opened up my eyes some more when we talk about money making systems, when we talk about putting your money to work. Give your money your job. Let your money work for you, as we all said, but let your money work for you. Put it in things that's going to actually grow. Put it in like mutual funds, 401ks, IRAs, everything that we just talked about. And it's just, you can compound interest. Compound interest is amazing. You'll be surprised at what it can really do. And so that leads me to my next question. What money system do you use that feel will help our community? Like, as we know, like everybody, as we said, we're not up to date. Well, we weren't up to date on what systems were out there. So I know we mentioned a few, but can we go in depth on what you guys think that systems will work for our community?
Yeah. What you mean by in terms of systems?
Money, what kind of okay, since we're getting what kind of systems? So we talk about systems as in we can talk about living below your means is kind of a system. That's like a branch of a system. But what do you do to ensure that you have consistent growth within your money or within your finance or in that way? That makes more sense.
For sure.
Okay.
First thing I'm gonna say is I'm gonna tell you about one of my favorite banking products that they got, which is a high yield savings account.
Okay.
So high yield savings account, those are almost essential in my opinion right now, especially with the economy. The rates are high right now with the interest rates, so you gotta take advantage of it while with the stuff that you can, because it goes against you in a lot of things, but you gotta take advantage of it in places that you can. So high yield savings accounts basically are regular savings account that just generates a higher amount of interest. So usually a traditional savings account will give you like 0.05% interest or something, but with the high yield savings account, you'll get a higher interest rate Some are even I've seen up to 5%. And that's going back to what you said, talking about that compound interest. Like that stuff adds up. You leave some money in there for a while, it'll start getting to generate interest. I probably made my high yield savings account maybe around September. And it's a good place to put your emergency fund, I would say, because you just generating, you're ensuring that it's growing while it's still accessible to you at any time. You can get that thing in a minute. It's a regular savings account. I personally have Capital One's 360 account. I know that has probably, I want to say like 4.35 or 4.25% interest, but I know Wealthfront, I think there's this 5%. Everbank, they have 5.15, and I want to say Goldman Sachs Marcus has around about 4.4 or something like that. But another thing that goes into that, the reason why I've been able to amass that growth in my high yield savings account is, automating your paycheck. A lot of people, and also understanding that there's different funds that you should have. Mm-hmm. So yeah, somebody says CDs is another one, especially if you have an amount of money that you are able to, you're comfortable with locking away for a couple amount of months or maybe up to a year. You know what I'm saying? Something that you're more comfortable putting away and not, worrying about. That's money that you don't really mind, just sitting there and generating interest on its own, but you won't be able to, access it at all times like a high yield savings account. But as I was going to earlier, understanding that you should have different funds, you should have, some of your paychecks should be going to, your essentials. Of course, it has to go to your essentials, whether it's your rent, the essential livings that you have. You want to have some you want to have some leisure. Especially we're younger, we have to have some leisure. You don't want to box yourself in too much. But you also want to have to automate, those are things that are going to go in your checkings account. You want to start automating stuff. You can automate your direct deposit to go into, you can automate your direct deposits to go into different, separate accounts. So I have part of my direct deposit go into, I'll probably say like, I don't know the percentage offhand, but I have part of it that goes into my checkings account, which is for my essentials and my like my wants and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then I have part of it go into my, my savings account, my high yield savings account, which is growing. And then I also have part of it going into a separate savings account, which is for my investments. Mm-hmm. So it's like you can have different accounts, and that when you automate it, you don't have to think about it. That's the best part. I was reading it. It's Tony Robbins' book. I forgot what it's called, but when you automate it, the best part of it is you're not thinking about it. You're not having to go on your checking account and be like, oh, I'm gonna send this to here. I'm gonna send this to here. I'm gonna send this to here. You don't want to be thinking about that stuff. It enables you to just do it like that, and that's really how you start growing it. Especially if you got a 9-to-5. I feel like being there for a year and doing it both ways. I haven't only been there for a year, so I don't want to speak too heavily on it. But definitely having a plan and doing it like that has shown a complete difference. Because when I had my internship and I was making around the same money or maybe even a little bit more because I was working hourly, but that money was just going. I didn't have a plan for it, and once it was in my checkings account, you seeing it.
It started to run away, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. I don't know any of Lennox or Brandon, like when you think about that, like systems, like because I feel like there's different ways when it comes to strategies, but it also can be some things that you might do personally. But I'm curious on you guys' take. What y'all feel about that? If y'all want to add something to what Javon said.
So I'm more than I love what he said. me, I like to beeline towards like just creating like we see what works. We know what works, we invest into stuff that works, and I feel like once we get that knowledge of how it works, I feel like we should be able to take it and mold it into something of our own, and design our own money making systems that that is just maintained by us, by our people, by people that look like us, and it'll just be better for us to be able to. It'll be easier to create generational wealth because we maintain it, and instead of being a curse of like in The Richest Man of Babylon, how he had a plan and went to a brick maker instead of a diamond maker, and that, I feel like that's kind of what we do when we want to get riches, we want to get diamonds, but we go into like tax professionals or just somebody that's not a professional in the business. So I feel like once we become professionals in it, we'll then be able to show each other the way. So I feel like that's a system that we should just take away, pretty much. Yeah.
So for me, I would definitely say the high yield saving. I think that's number one for me. Just because I'm big on compound interest. I know me and Quez always talking. One day, this had to be about a year ago, he was just talking about compound interest. I never really thought about it. But when you think about it and you see what compound interest really is, or when you see how numbers really add up, like it makes you think like, whoa, like what am I doing? So putting your money to work, definitely creating a budget. I see Miss Bacon says something in the comments, and yeah, like having a budget, just being smart with your money. Like I think that's just what it comes down to. We all know what we have to do. I mean,
Right.
we know what we want to do too, but do we really need to do it? You know what I mean? Like it just comes down to being responsible, being accountable, and just doing what's right.
Yeah. But the common denominator from everything that we spoke so far is that at the end of the day, you have to do it, right? And the thing about when we look about our generation, or we say our community, is that some of these things we know, right? We know about certain accounts and certain strategies. But I think the most important thing is, I think Javon had mentioned this earlier, it started with our mind, right? It started with our mindset on what do we believe is the primary purpose for money, right? And when you think about what's the primary purpose for money, there's three types of people when it comes to their belief behind the primary purpose of money. Number one, you got the strivers, right? And these are the type of people that say, hey, we talked about making your time work for yourself, or in the case in the strivers, they're like, hey, I want to trade my time for money. And they're thinking, hey, when I get paid, my money is to go to bills. That's the purpose of my money. I want it to pay for bills. I want to borrow money to consume more things, or they just, that's what the strivers want to do, right? But then you have the arrivers, and these are people that say, hey, when I get money, my whole goal is to be debt free. I want to pay off all my debt, right? These are the arrivers. Hey, my whole goal, they New Year's resolution, I want to be debt free, right? And so their goal is I want to live on less than what I can afford, but and they may earn a little bit of interest. But then you got the third type of person, or when their belief behind primary purpose of money, which is the thrivers, right? So their thing is, hey, I want money to make more money, right? I want money to be able to accumulate interest. I want, I'm pretty sure y'all work so hard for your money. I know Dr. C worked hard for her money. I know Ms. Marjorie worked hard for her money. I know Miss Stephanie. We work so hard for our money. Like, my question to y'all is, don't you want your money to work hard for you? Right? And so when you think about it, Javon also mentioned this, that it's those stages, right? You said accumulation, you said acquiring, right? There's stages to it. There's three different stages. You got the accumulation phase, you got the preservation phase when you want to preserve your money, and then you got the distribution phase when it's time to live that ideal life in the later years. Yeah. But let's be honest, us four, we're in that accumulation phase. Yep. People that might be listening, if it's Gen Z, it's time to go get it. That's what it's all about right now, right? But the thing is, in order to go get it, in order to make our money work for us, we have to become the person to do the thing so that we can have all that we want to have.
Yes, sir.
Right? And to end it off like this is that the real value in an asset is not the asset. It's the people that control them. Right? So when you go to somebody like Javon, you say, hey, Javon knows what he's talking about. Right? Now I know he's talking about. So I'm gonna be able to say, hey, let's have this conversation. Teach me how to be able to best utilize my savings account, my CD, or whatever that is. And now I can trust them to be able to say, okay, let's create a plan for the future. Right. But I want to ask another question, for you guys. And I want to, kind of shift it. Because we talk about the primary purpose of money. Some people think it's for to buy more debt, things of that nature. We got Ms. Marjorie to say you have to deny your material things today so that you can have the wealth tomorrow. Right. And so let's talk about that. Right. And we think about, I'm be honest, I don't like this. I don't care for it. But I'm going to say it. I feel like people want to know about this. For someone, I'm going to ask Javon this. For someone that has little to no credit, how do you recommend them starting to build credit? Like I said, me personally, I don't like credit, but that may be another conversation for another day. Well, how you feel about that, Javon?
I'm not the best credit person, but, I got a decent credit score. So I'm gonna give y'all the game that was given to me.
There we go.
So first step you got to do your due diligence. So you got to go on YouTube University and Google University. You know what I'm saying? You're going to do your research. You're going to research. If you're starting off, I'll probably say the best route to go is a secure credit card. So, I'll probably go research what are the best secure credit cards available for insert year. So I guess it's what, 2024? So you put best secure credit cards available for 2024. So you want to make sure you do the year in specific because credit card rewards are constantly changing. So you want to make sure that you got the best for the year. And there's plenty of people on YouTube who have like really good information. I say you watch about 5-6 videos, and then you'll probably find like some commonalities, and then you'll be able to use your judgment and go ahead and choose one. After doing that, you start getting this, you got your secure credit card. So what a secure credit card is basically you're putting a cash deposit on the secured on the card. So say you want a $500 limit, you will put 500 of your own dollars on the card. That way, if it's a couple of reasons. That one, it sets your limit. So that will help with like the lower qualification requirements and all of that stuff, but you will have a lower credit limit. But another reason is the issue uses that to cover the unpaid debt that they would happen if you were to fault on that and not pay it. Fault meaning not pay it.
Right.
So I'm not necessarily sure how it probably, don't quote me on this, but I'm guessing that the late, because you will probably have a late fee and stuff if you don't pay it for a while. But I'm guessing that the time allotted to you is greater because they already have that initial covered. So say the late fees would register after, the monthly charge, it might register later because you have a secure credit card. Don't quote me on that, but that's just what I would think. And the third step, do not live above your means at all. At all. You cannot live above your means.
What do you mean by that? Tell us about that, man. What do you mean by that?
Do not live above your means. If it's not in your bank account, simply do not spend it.
Okay. That sound very easy, Javon, but let's be real. Are we really capable to do that? Can tell us
you have to be.
I don't know, bro. That sometimes that might seem hard to do.
Listen, credit is not something for those who have FOMO or those who want to just keep up with the Joneses. I feel like an old head saying that, but let's be real. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses with a credit card, you're gonna end up with a lot of debt.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to end up in credit card debt and having, a bad credit score, which will impact your future use of credit. We want credit to be something that, can be a platform or a springboard for us. We don't want it to be a weight that is holding us down. So my friend always says, what does he say? He basically says like credit card is just simple math, like as to why people get into credit card debit, like people literally just pay more than what you have in your bank account. If you see, and that's why I like doing the secured route initially, because you're starting off, if you're somebody who is going to start off, you go put 1,000 of your own dollars in the secured credit card, you're a bold person. I know personally I wouldn't do that. I put a little 400 in mine. I was like, that's because you're starting off, you're young usually when you have a secure credit card. So you're less likely to pay to what's it called?
Overspend.
To overspend, exactly, because your credit limit isn't that high. So as my friend Tony says, just don't just pay what you have in your bank account. And he says, Peter can't rob Paul. He said, can't rob Peter to pay Paul. That's what he always says. Can't rob Peter to pay Paul. So that, and the last thing, pay your credit card bill a week in advance, which is a key that has helped me very much as I've been growing my credit, and pay it off in full when you pay it off. If you can't afford a subscription or a bill, you might want to think about just canceling that joint. It might not be worth it. You got to live below your means,
Right.
because at the end of the day, that will always keep more money, not put more money, but that will always keep more money in your pocket.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm curious, like Brandon, Lennox, like when y'all think about this conversation behind debt, credit, student loans, whatever that is, when it comes to owing people, right? Like, what do y'all think? Like, me and Javon might be in that financial space, but from your perspective, what's a question or something? What's something that you think people that are listening want to really know about debt in general that maybe hasn't been spoken about?
You go, Lynn.
Yeah, okay. So for me personally, I like credit. I like credit because you have the ability to use other people's money to invest into the things that can produce you more money in the long run. Although you may have a bill over time, if you can afford to pay the bill, then that's fine to me. But I think you have to be a disciplined person to be able to buy something for this amount of money and be able to pay it back. But if I'm purchasing something, it's going to be something that's going to generate me more money in the long run. For instance, education or skill set. So if I use a credit card, say something is, we're just going to say we can use $1,000, something $1,000, and I have a 2,000 spending limit. I can, buy that $1,000, and then I will be able, if I'm able to afford the bill that's going to come with the monthly bill to pay it off every month, I see no problem with it. And at the same time, you're building your credit.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, you're investing in yourself. So you're getting, it's like you're getting a win-win. You're investing in yourself and you're building your credit. And to me, that's just a win. Now, like we said, don't live above your means. Don't go buy nothing for $5,000 if you can't afford it. It's going to be whoever knows how much it is, depending on your interest rate. You know what I'm saying? It can be $400, $500. That's a big bill that you don't necessarily have to have. But if you can afford it, I feel like you should use it if it's towards something that's going to generate you more money. So that's my take on credit. I personally love it because I think I'm just a disciplined person. So I'm able to pay my bills on time. I'm able to pay it early. I'm even able to swipe and get something to even pay half off or pay some or put it like a deposit down so that the bill is even smaller when the bill comes up. So that's just me. I feel like people can use that skill. That method, that's just something I came up with. I figured just being around people who talk about credit, who talk about money, you actually learn about credit. And when I thought about it, I was like, man, if it's $500, but I got $300, I can pay that $300 and I can use this bill to build my credit. That's just So that's just the way I think about it, and I feel like that could be useful to some others if you have discipline.
Yeah, I agree.
I like that. So being here, like I feel like the rookie and all of this, because I'll say for me, like I felt like Quez did. I hated credit. hearing of how you basically get money to be able to spend, but have to pay someone back for it, like, or an institution back for it. It just didn't sit right with me. But now that I've started getting credit myself and learning how like building good credit and the perks of it, I was more open to it. So and the one tip that I got for credit is similar to what Javon said, paying in advance. So um, I learned paying in threes. So pay 30% of your credit balance 3 days before the due date, and that shows the bank that one, you're paying now you're not paying full, but you're paying a hefty amount of it, 30% of it. That looks good, and then you're doing it 3 days early, which automatically boosts your credit because you're not late and you're early. So that just looks good on you as a creditor to the bank, and they'll just go ahead and raise your credit limit. So I'll just say doing that, paying in threes, and then just taking heed into not putting yourself in debt. I feel like a lot of times we control like certain situations, like unexpected financial situations come up all the time. Yeah, you can control that. You know what I'm saying? Like getting tickets, just a lot of stuff, just an unnecessary spending that we have to do sometimes, eating out all the time, doing stuff like that, cutting it out your life, or just cutting out your budget. Budgeting is so big when it comes to credit. So I'll just say, like, learning about all of that stuff first before you dive into trying to build credit is like the number one key factor to maintaining a good credit score.
Absolutely. And like I said, I started off by saying that I don't like it. And I feel like I can't just leave it out there and not say why, right? But I think Brandon mentioned a great point that, well, where does it start from? Like, let's think about the people that are out there that has a balance that's crazy right now, right? And it's really going to take a lot to pay that down. Well, what about them, right? And me personally, I think about, well, how do I just go back to the root cause of things? And we think about, just like we said, the primary purpose of money. Well, what's the purpose of actually utilizing credit? I think Lynn mentioned about how well I want to utilize the credit to pay for something that's going to generate me more income, right? Because if it's not going to generate me more income, if I'm at a capped amount of income, how am I going to catch up with the credit? If I can't make no more than $4,000 a month, my credit balance is $4,000. Well, I got bills to pay. I got other stuff to do. Like, it's a race right there, right? But if we understand, well, what are the ways that I can utilize the credit? I can either utilize it for something that can be an asset to me, or I can utilize it for something that's going to be a liability, right? And like, let's say, for instance, all of us, like, if we was in person, right? Like, this is what we'll probably do. Like, if we was in person, all of us, we had a podcast station, we in person. Next thing you know, we had a great podcast, talk about financial literacy. And next thing you know, we're like, the guys, Thursday night, it's sunny outside. Hey, guess what, man? Let's go to the bar, right? Let's go to the bar, get a drink. Let's continue this conversation. And we go to the bar. I know everybody been in this situation. You go to the bar, and guess what you do? When you go to the bar, you're going to exchange your credit card to the bartender for a drink, right? And what is the question they're going to ask you? They say they're going to say, hey, you want to keep this tab open, or you want to close it, right? And so when they ask you, they want to keep the tab open or to close it, you're basically saying that now if I keep the tab open, now I owe that person. As many times I get a drink, I owe the bartender, right? But guess what? The bartender has my asset, the credit card, excuse me, and then I have a liability, the drinks that I'm pouring down. Yep. Now the thing is that once I close out my tab, the asset and liability disappears. But guess what? My debt is still there, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and we think about that. Well, that's a way that can negatively impact my credit. Yeah. But just debt in general. But then let's think about, well, let's say, for instance, we say, hey, InvestFest is coming up in a few months. InvestFest, man, it's like $300 a ticket, right? or maybe you might stay out of town, right? Guess what? I would recommend putting that on a credit card because you're investing into yourself, right? InvestFest, you know how much information we got out of InvestFest, Lynn, Javon, Brandon.
What I'm talking about, Quiz. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It has to be something that's going to bring you value.
Yeah.
Just go spend
that's
it.
The word right there, value. That's the word. Something that's going to bring you value.
Exactly. You can't just go buy $300 Jordans and I'm gonna wear them to InvestFest. No, you're gonna buy this InvestFest ticket, and then when you get to by the time you get to InvestFest, it should be paid off. And then when you get to InvestFest, you should learn something from that $300 that you spent.
Yeah. And by the time you do that, you probably either gonna make some points or some cash back on it. So you don't make some benefits on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's different plays we get. You know, they call them the plays. They run a play. Well, we might get a play. I remember we was standing in line. You remember at InvestFest, we was standing in line to get it was a long line for some snacks or something, right? And then Javon, he'll step out the line and he want to go talk to some guy, right? And the guy was, I guess, some big dog guy that Javon want to go talk to. But I'm pretty sure you got some gems from that probably made you money today, right? You know what I'm saying? So, excuse me, you probably made back. You got a return on your investment. You know what I mean? But I think that is I think it's taking it back to the root cause of things, and I think that's so important. But maybe I think we only got a couple minutes left, but I don't know if y'all got anything else on that. But I was gonna switch the subject just to the aspect of generational wealth, right? We throw that name out there, generational wealth, but I'm curious, like, let's start with you, Lynn. Like, do you feel like just or anybody really? Do you feel like y'all are responsible for leaving a legacy? Like, do you feel like as a man or it just be as a person in general, right? What's y'all perspective on that? Do you feel like you're responsible for leaving a legacy?
Personally, I do. For me, I feel like we're young. We were just talking about this other day. We're young. We're blessed with opportunities. We're blessed to be in rooms that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to be in. So I feel like we should capitalize off of it. And we should use these opportunities that we have to build generational wealth. We can't be getting all this information and not use it. You know what I mean? We can't get it and not put it to work. We can't use it and not take action. So I feel like it is our duty because a lot of people before us maybe have not had the opportunity to receive this type of information that we're getting, go to these places that we're going to. And if we don't, then it's just like we just retained it for no reason. We didn't use it. So, and just imagine if our grandkids hear about all the times, like we were here when the internet first started booming, and my granddaddy didn't do nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna look back at Linux wasn't nothing. Like now I got to do it, and it's gonna be a trickle down effect. So I feel like it starts with us, bro, and we definitely have to leave a legacy. And it's just why not? That's my question. Why not? Why not leave it?
Yeah. Who else? What y'all think?
I mean, I'm all for it. I think that's what our main purpose being here. Like we have a purpose. Everyone has a purpose, whether you recognize it or not. But your purpose is to leave something better than what you had during your time for your family and those after you. So whether that's building a school for people to be able to learn these type of conversations, or just certain inventions. I feel like as humans evolve, we evolve with it, and you just gotta stay up to date. I feel like, and like how Lenny said, our grandkids gonna be like, oh yeah, my grandpa was here when he had burst through COVID, or the iPhone boom and social media and stuff like that. And look what he left for us. Like, that's what all I'm on. So leaving your mark on this earth is just really big to me. So to basically sum up my answer to the question, yes, I feel very responsible for my family, and just making everyone proud, those that are still here, those that's gone already, That's all I'm here for.
It's a purpose. I like that. It's a purpose.
Purpose.
Yeah, for me, I say my sister always likes to tell me that, you know, I'm not responsible for anything, but at the end of the day, I feel solely responsible. I feel like I'm gonna be the one that needs to leave the legacy for not just my like immediate family, but I'm talking about my entire family. I want to be the one that, you know, create somewhat of a family empire on both sides, and I want to be remembered as that person that took that risk and made that change. You know what I'm saying? Before my generation, I feel like my family went through way too much struggles and suffering in Jamaica on both sides of my family. You know what I'm saying? I've seen and I felt what they've gone through, especially when I went back there this most recent trip. So, you know, I can assure you by the time that I'm resting, nobody in my family gonna have to go through that again. Like, I ain't gonna lie, especially I can say for my direct immediate family, I know that for sure. But in terms of my grand family, like that's the goal. Like I don't want nobody in my family to ever have to go through that again.
Right.
Yeah. I love you. Man, I'm about to let's go. Like, you know, I like talking to y'all because, you know, I think it's important to be able to see the importance of like just like Brandon mentioned, like putting your stamp on the world. And I feel like I really believe it is a purpose. You know what I mean? You know, I remember having a conversation with one of my mentors when I went to college, and you know, he came in and totally like revamped our College of Business at A&T. And he would start off by doing these Wednesday night dinners, right? And so the Wednesday night dinners, we had to come in, we had to dress up. You know, he was teaching us which fork to eat our salad with, you know, and he was also have, you know, other business owners come and talk to us, right? And he also gave me that book. I think I gave it one of you guys, Think Grow Rich, A Black Choice. So I'm looking at all these Black leaders in the business, and I'm like, man, like this is powerful. And one thing, and I started to build a relationship. Think Grow Rich, A Black Choice, recommended. We don't mention a couple books. I recommend that one. That's the one, right? But you know, he told me, he said, when I started getting a relationship with him one-on-one, Mr. Wiggins told me, he said, hey, you know, his purpose is to build young kings. Like he said, that's his purpose. Like his purpose is to build young kings. He want to have young kings in different cities, right? And so that's his whole thing that he want to do. And so he's telling me this, but he's telling me he got that principle just from the Bible, right? And so he's telling me this, and I remember one day also having a conversation with my dad, and my dad told me, he said, hey, Quez, you know, I admire the fact that you embrace being a leader. And he also told me, he said, you know, I shied away from it when I was growing up. Like I was, you know, supposed to be a leader, having positions at work and jobs, you know, family, but I shied away from it. You know, of course, you know, and so I thought about that, and I began to ponder on it for real. And the next thing you know, I had that aha moment. I was like, that's it. Like, that's my purpose. That's my passion. It's just leadership.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like in our society, in our community, and ultimately our family, is that yes, we lack the education, but we also lack the leadership. Right. We need that person to teach us, well, what are the family principles? Right. What are the systems in place that our family need? Right. What are the values that when we say, well, we stand on something, like when you say, and I say the Baldwin family, like we stand on these values, and that's that. Right. And I want to pass, you know, I wanted that to be passed down. You know what I mean? Like people think it's just the money or the land. Yeah, that's true. But what about these principles and standards that your family, that's what y'all on. Yeah. Right. If we come from that perspective, the money, the land, all that's gonna come, right? And so I came up with a motto, and I've been kind of running this, is leadership for legacy, right? So that's what I've been doing. You know, my day-to-day, I'm helping families when it comes to growing, protecting, and saving their money. And so I'm like, my mission is to educate, for one, inspire, and transform individuals to be that leader of their family so that they can learn and then implement these financial strategies so they can transform their future, but ultimately their family's legacy. Yeah. And so, you know, I think this is on point, right? But now for people that say, okay, well, how do I really leave generational wealth from a money standpoint, I'm curious on Javon, what you think an effective way to allocate, let's say, for instance, somebody, God forbid, somebody in their family passed away. Next thing you know, you got 300,000 or 200,000 life insurance policy just got passed down to you. What do I do with it?
Man, first thing I would do if I was them is not listen to somebody like me. I go get a financial advisor and go learn how to allocate that.
Okay.
But no, I'm joking. No, I'm not joking, but in all seriousness, how I probably would do it, I was thinking, you said about 200,000. This is me. I'm a little bit of a risky person. I'm not gonna lie to you, especially because we're younger, so we can be a little bit more risky, you know. Personally, you know, I know, Quez, what's it called? I know you watched Earn Your Leisure because you just mentioned that earlier. So I'm gonna go with what Ian always says.
He's saying
I'm applying 50% in the stock market, and I'm gonna do 2 techs and 2 index. My 2 techs, personally, I love Microsoft. I love what they've been doing, and I love where they're at in the AI race. And even though it's high right now, I mean, NVIDIA has helped me a lot. You know what I'm saying? I love NVIDIA. NVIDIA is my baby. If not NVIDIA, you know, it's very interesting. I've been looking at the cyber defense, like CrowdStrike and stuff like that. Look, keeping booming. They done help me out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been looking at. Come on, Lennox. I've been looking in that department. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then 2 index funds for Shirley, probably QQQ, and probably something with the tracking the S&P 500 as a whole. Other than that, I probably would put, me being risky, I'm putting 20 into crypto. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm putting 20% of my money personally into crypto because I feel like a lot of people would tell you to put it into bonds and things of that nature. Like I said, we're younger, a little bit more risky. Crypto is going to get you a lot more returns than putting it into bonds and things of that nature. Yeah. And then lastly, I take 20% out. I put into a business venture of my own. Whatever that would be, I'm gonna bet on myself at the end of the day. I'll put some money into myself. And then the last 10% I'll probably put into either bonds or something in the money markets as CDs and things of that nature. So I can always have something that I can access like that at the blink of an eye.
I like that. I like that.
I do it.
That's it. You mentioned some great stocks. I hope people listening take some notes, man. That's it, man. I definitely like those stocks and definitely those 2 index. You want to play it safe, but you want to be in the market. 2 indexes for sure. But I want to say one thing before we go on to quick trivia and then we close out. For those people that say, hey, man, risk, you know, I think when it comes to investing money, you want to think about 2 things: your risk tolerance and your time horizon. You like risk? It's cool. If you don't like risk, there's other options. If you got 20 years to retire, or if you got 10 years to retire, 5 years, you got to think about that as well.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you think about that, you know, for people that say, hey, I want to be able to put, you know, I hate risk. I don't like risk. Right. Maybe you're not Gen Z, maybe in a different. What I think is, you know, I don't know if y'all noticed, but yesterday, President Biden passed a bill that now capital gains tax, you got to pay 44.6%. What does that mean? Well, if you got real estate property, if you got, let's say, for instance, just take property, for instance. If you have some property, somebody passed on your property, you're trying to sell it. If you sell that property, you got to pay 44.6% to the government, right? But guess what? There's ways that you can mitigate that, right? And one of the ways I'm going to share for people that are in that position, or just say, hey, I don't like risk. In this position, and when you sell your real estate, you do something called a DST, right? Called a deferred sales trust. Basically, you're deferring the gains of your real estate property, and then you're putting it off into a trust, and that trust can generate you a new asset. Now you say, hey, I don't like risk. You want a downside protection on your money. But those people that don't like risk, you will invest in something called an income paying annuity. income paying annuity, guess what it's going to do? It's going to generate income to you. You know, when you go you get Social Security every month, or when you get a win a lottery and they ask you want a lump sum payments, or you want a full, or you want periodic payments, or you want lump sum payments, that's an annuity, right? And so now, if an annuity, you think about a pension, when your job pay you a pension, you got a pension every single month, that's an annuity. So your job don't give you a pension. Guess what? You can set up a pension for yourself, and which is that income paying annuity. And now you can have money coming into you for the rest of your life, guaranteed. You know, in the financial industry, guarantee is a forbidden word.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, income paying annuity, guarantee. I wanted to get that off because I feel like, you know, somebody that might be listening, maybe that could be some helpful information. But as we close out, man, I think Javon, man, this is amazing. I think Lennox, you thinking about the trivia? What you think about that?
We can see. I'll pull it up real quick. So just gonna name a couple phrases. You can say yay, nay, good, bad, and then we can. Well, do we have time for a little? We can discuss a little bit, and we'll see. So the first one is cash is king. Yay, nay.
I think that's a good one. I'm gonna say yay.
Yay. Javon?
Cash is king. It depends on the situation. I'm gonna say
Right.
I'm gonna say nay.
Nay.
Credit can get you a long way.
Okay.
It rhyme too.
I think I'm with Javon. I think money is a resource that can get us a lot of places, but it does not trump like resources that you got in within yourself that you can just create on yourself and make that get you more money. So I feel like building relationships with certain people, you don't need no money to build a relationship.
Right.
I mean, you maybe need some money to get into the door to build that relationship, but you know what I'm saying, once you face to face and you able to work your move to put yourself in better positions, I feel like that's better than any amount of money, and it just gets you more. So I wouldn't want to say cash is king, and just basic principles, really, like you don't want to put too much weight on money and then chasing money, and then it's just not good. We've seen too many examples. I feel like.
Okay. I got this is a good one right here. Work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
Work hard, play hard. Or work hard, play harder.
Yeah. I got a few football shirts that say that.
Man, we talking about.
I know.
All of this is like perspective, you know what I mean? Situational. But I'm gonna say nay.
Nay. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say nay on that one. Save your chicken. You could play hard when you're older.
Yeah. Okay.
I see where y'all going.
Yeah, cash is losing value every day. Facts.
She's on it. She's on it. And the last one for the show, which is we talked about all day, well, all night. Time is money.
Nay.
Nay.
Mm-mm.
That's what I thought.
I like that one.
That's it.
Yeah, man. Time is way too much more than money.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, that's money making systems for the night. I feel like it was a good show. A lot of good information, a lot of information that was put down that should be picked up, as we like to say. Javon, it was nice having you on the show, bro. Grateful for your knowledge and grateful for your presence.
Man, pleasure to be here, man. Thank y'all for putting me on here, man. I really appreciate y'all for thinking of me.
Yes, sir. I told you, man. You was the first one that came to my mind, so I had to do it.
Try yourself out, man. How can people find you? Like anything you're working on? Like let us know. They want to find you, man. They want to know how they can access you.
So, my email, I think my email is javoncampbell@gmail.com, but you can also find me on Instagram. My Instagram is, I don't even remember my Instagram. Top Boy Jovi, I want to say. I also have a photography page, you know, if you have any photography inquiries. My photography account is Top Visuals, TOPVIZUALS. I think I spelled that right? Yeah. Yes, sir. That's it. But yeah, all those ways, and you know, reach out if you had any questions on anything, and I'll be sure to help you. I love to. We all good people, man. Appreciate y'all.
That's it. I wanted to say, Dr. C, she has a show third week of the month, next month. We're celebrating mothers, right? So I know a couple of us got our mothers on. So, we celebrating mothers. And so I'm excited for that. So, we're gonna keep the show rolling, and we'll be back with a game plan on the 4th, last week of May. So I'm excited. This was amazing, y'all.
Yes.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir.
All the guests and everybody here.
Yeah.
All right, and that's the